Hi guys, my name is Vuvu and this is Vena. And if you're new to this platform, please feel free to press the red subscribe button down below and the bell next to it so that you can stay notified of any new things that might come up on this channel that are bookish related and that you might be interested in. And today's video is basically a discussion video on the autobiography of Malcolm X as told by Alex Haley. So this is the first non-fiction to be featured on my platform, so I called it a discussion instead of a review because I just don't know how it's gonna go. Because in as much as you can review fiction and you know exactly what to look for when you're reviewing fiction, which has a lot to do with character development, plot development, setting, and all that jazz that is actually crafted into different worlds that don't really always exist. With with non-fiction, it's quite difficult because the people whose lives you're analyzing are real, actual people who walked the surface of this earth. So for me, I'm finding it a little bit difficult to call non-fiction talks on this platform reviews. So I've labeled this a discussion, and if you guys have any tips on how to go about future discussions, as I do want to delve into more non-fiction on this platform and for my own reading health, and they might take the form of autobiographies, and sometimes I'll take the form of personal development books. So if you guys are keen on those and have a kind of direction as to what you would like to hear when those do feature onto this platform, please feel free to have a discussion down below with me in the comment section. And if you do like the addition of non-fiction onto this platform, please also feel free to give me a thumbs up so that I can know that you want to see more of such videos. Otherwise, with that said, let me just go into a quick summary of who Malcolm X was, or how his life unfolded. So Malcolm X was born in 1925, and by the age of 6 he had lost his father, who was killed by a white man, and at 13 his mother was taken into a mental institution. So around 13-14 he dropped out of school and went to live with his half-sister in Boston. And while in Boston he got let's say linked up with the wrong crowd in his pursuit for an income as a black young man who was not educated, and he got in with the wrong crowd, became very well known in Harlem at that time, and his life included women of other races, which was quite frowned upon in that time for a black man to be philandering with white women, as well as there was drugs, there was crime, and a whole lot of like bad lifestyle around his life. And by the age of 20 he was arrested for a variety of criminal acts, which included housebreaking, burglary, and drugs, so among others. So he went to jail at the age of 20, and while in jail he began corresponding with a man called Elijah Muhammad, who was the leader of the Muslim nation, or the Nation of Islam in America at the time. And it seemed like Elijah was the person who introduced Islam to the black community, especially in the ghettos of America at that time. So while in prison he liaised with Malcolm X, and therein sparked a friendship and Malcolm's conversion into Islam. And that conversion was the becoming, and I would almost also say the undoing of Malcolm X. When he got out of prison, Malcolm became a black Muslim minister, and he became a human rights activist. And in his preachings he would go on about how the white man was the devil because of some atrocities that the white people are known to have afflicted upon black people, especially black Americans, and following their history. So he made sure to let the black people know that white people are not their allies. And his preachings got mistaken for a lot of things, part of which were that he was advocating for violence, racism, and hatred. And if you read the book, you will understand his thinking and his logic and what he actually stood for, because he was sitting with Alex Haley, who's crafted this book so well. His English, his storytelling, everything that he has said in this book on how he has written it has resonated with me and my understanding of the man Malcolm X, which is pictured here. And by the way, the book was turned into a major motion picture for Warner Bros. And directed by Spike Lee. I have not seen the movie, but the book suffices for me to understand and get a picture of Malcolm X, whom I knew very little of, to be honest, before I actually read the book. So I really enjoyed discovering this man and actually adding him in my hall of fame of black men who stood for something to do with the black race. So his life started going down a very bad turn when he broke his friendship with Elijah Muhammad after discovering true Islam through his quest or his journey to Mecca and meeting other Muslim people from different parts of the world. And he realized that his foundations were fickle and actually not very strong when it came to the religion that he believed. And from then on, he tried to preach a different approach to the race and human rights issue in America. But in doing that, he didn't quite erase what he had said, but he said it in a different way that was more understandable, more palatable, and more gentle, because he had discovered through his journeys around the world that not all white people were the same, and that a lot of how white people behaved towards black people had something to do with the system in which was running whatever country that it was where those atrocities were being committed. But anyway, he died for his beliefs. He was assassinated before he even turned 50 while he was trying to preach on one of his messages, and it was a struggle to get him a funeral because nobody wanted to be associated with Malcolm X, which was pretty sad because of how hard he had fought for the black people. As a result, his body had stayed out longer than it is traditional for Islam people, and a lot else went on around his life. He was married. He did marry a Muslim sister and they had babies. I think they had 3 daughters if I'm not mistaken, and his departure from the world obviously left a stain on that family, and it comes through somewhat in Alex's retelling of the time around Malcolm X's funeral. And I would just want to read an epilogue here by one of the people that Malcolm knew, who was the actor Ozzie Davis, who at the funeral read his eulogy, and this is how it went. Here at this final hour, in this quiet place, Harlem has come to bid farewell to one of its brightest hopes, extinguished now and gone from us forever. Many will ask what Harlem finds to honor in the stormy, controversial, and bold young captain, and we will smile. They will say he is of hate, a fanatic, a racist who can only bring evil to the cause for which you struggle. And we will answer and say unto them, did you ever talk to Brother Malcolm? Did you ever touch him or even smile or have him smile at you? Did you ever really listen to him? Did he ever do a mean thing? Was he ever himself associated with violence or any public disturbance? For if you did, you would know him. And if you knew him, you would know why we must honor him. Malcolm was our manhood, our living black manhood. This was his meaning to his people. And in honoring him, we will honor the best in ourselves. And we will know him then for what he was and is. A prince, our own black shining prince, who didn't hesitate to die because he loved us so. And I think this is the best summary of Malcolm's life. And I do believe that history affords us a lot of rich black men and women who help us pave our paths and shine upon our paths as a black nation. And I believe that this life was surely one of those shining stars on our path. I would encourage you to get your hands on this book because truly it did change my life. It took me forever to read it, don't get me wrong, because there were a lot of triggers in this book, but knowing that it wasn't anything made up, that a real man of this stature walked the earth and delivered the messages that he delivered with such conviction, had an element of healing in my heart and an assistance in understanding life a little bit more from his and my vantage point as black people. And with that said, guys, this is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this first discussion on a non-fiction. I don't know if you could pick up how nervous I was. Anyway, if you have read this book, please also comment in the comment section below and let me know what you thought about it and what you thought about Malcolm X's life. But until next time, that's all I've got for you. I love you very, very much.